Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into the art of negotiation, but we're looking at the conversation that happens before anyone even speaks.
That's right. We're pulling from a couple of key sources, negotiation tool body language and the art of negotiation body language. And they make a pretty bold claim
Which is,
that the most critical part of a negotiation is basically decided non-verbally before the real talking even gets started.
okay, so that's our mission for this deep dive. We want to figure out how your physical presence, your posture, your gestures is actually a tool. We want to give you, the learner, something you can use immediately.
A blueprint for projecting command. It's really about creating a psychological edge. I mean, we get so wrapped up in our data and the contract terms,
Sure.
but the sources are clear. If your nonverbal message is weak, your words just won't land with the same impact.
Okay, let's unpack this. The first thing that really jumped out at me was this idea of silent communication. That's what they call body language. And it's the language your subconscious mind uses. And, unlike your carefully chosen words, it's brutally honest.
And that honesty is what dictates the terms of engagement right away. The sources say your posture speaks before you do. Just think about that sequence for a second.
Right. You walk in the room, maybe you shake a hand, you take a seat. All of that is being read just as heavily as your opening pitch.
It's so critical, especially when trust is low or the stakes are high. We might spend days, crafting the perfect presentation. But if we walk in with tight shoulders or fidgeting,
You've just undermined yourself.
exactly, you've undermined your own credibility before you've even had a chance to build it. The body transmits one of two messages instantly: confidence or hesitation.
And if the other side picks up on hesitation, they've already got the upper hand.
They've secured the positional high ground. We're just wired to read these signals, and we do it fast. If you look uncertain, we just assume your position, your data, is also uncertain.
So you're basically negotiating against a skepticism that you created yourself.
Precisely. Your first communication is that physical signal. And if it's confident, it kind of pulls them into your frame, so they have to engage on your terms.
So if that first moment is the battlefield, we need the tactics. And our sources are very specific here. They lay out this three-part blueprint: standing tall, being grounded, and having open shoulders. Let's break those down.
Yeah, we need to go deeper than the surface level. Standing tall isn't just about, not slouching.
Right.
It's about taking up your vertical space, but without looking rigid or aggressive. There's a huge difference between standing tall and standing stiff.
Stiffness signals tension.
Exactly. Tallness signals readiness. So it's more about lengthening your spine and internal alignment, not locking your knees.
Okay, so what about the second piece, being rounded? I feel like that's the one people underestimate.
Oh, completely. When people get anxious, it goes straight to their body. Shifting weight, rocking, bouncing a knee. You see it all the time.
So being grounded is the opposite of that fidgeting. But what does that look like in practice? I mean, a lot of big negotiations happen while you're sitting down.
That's a crucial point. So when you're standing, it's about even weight distribution, a stable center of gravity.
Right.
It tells the other person, I'm here, I'm focused, you can't knock me off balance.
And seated, how does that translate when you're at a table?
The principle's the same. It just shifts. Seated grounding means both feet flat on the floor, not wrapped around the chair legs, not tucked under you.
I see.
And it means anchoring your hands. We'll get to gestures, but when your hands are resting, they should be calm. On the table, in your lap, never hidden. It just says, you're comfortable. You're prepared to be here for a while.
So it's about cutting out all that extra movement that signals you're looking for an escape.
Yes. Which brings us to the third part of the triad. Open shoulders. This is the posture that really communicates trust. When we round our shoulders, it's a protective move. We're shielding ourselves.
Okay, but wait a second. I want to push back on that a bit. If I make a point of having this open shoulders posture, and the other person is leaning in, being really aggressive with their body language, doesn't that just make me feel more exposed?
It can. And that's the calculated risk. The sources argue that, yes, crossing your arms feels protective, but it immediately signals defensiveness.
And that just ratchets up the tension.
It accelerates it. The open stance, shoulders back, relaxed, is kind of paradoxically a power move.
How is being vulnerable a power move?
Because the goal is to build trust quickly. An open stance sends three really key signals. First, control. You're in control of your space.
Yeah.
Second, confidence. You've got nothing to hide.
And third,
Readiness. You're ready to engage directly, not from behind a wall. It shows you're so secure in your position that you don't need the physical armor.
I see. So you're demonstrating strength by not needing the physical barrier. It's a statement of security in itself.
Precisely. And this all ties back to this idea that posture is kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you physically adopt that stance tall, grounded, open, it actually reinforces your own mental stability. Your body tells your brain that you're secure.
And that's what makes it authentic.
That's what makes it come across as authentic to the other side.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. We've got the foundation, the static posture, but what about movement? Let's talk about hands.
Hands. They're the silent alarm system, aren't they? They're the first place nervous energy goes to escape. Shaking, fidgeting, hiding them under the table.
The sources draw a really clear line here between what works and what doesn't, and it's all tied to trust. Let's start with the effective side.
Effective is all about being intentional. So we're talking measured, open gestures. The sources say these inspire trust.
Why? What's the mechanism there?
It's about transparency. When you gesture with open palms, you're literally showing you have nothing to hide. The gestures help punctuate what you're saying, but they don't distract.
So like a presentational gesture, palms up slightly, using the space in front of you.
Exactly. Or, a subtle steepling of the fingers when you're listening. It's controlled, it's deliberate, it supports the verbal message.
Okay, now let's flip to the other side, the detrimental side. This is where I think most of us trip up without even realizing it. The sources talk about abrupt movements that transmit stress.
And that stress is like a red flag to your counterpart. We're talking about filling with a pen, adjusting your tie, rubbing the back of your neck. They're called pacifying gestures.
Pacifying gestures.
Yeah, they're self-comforting actions.
Yeah.
They betray anxiety. And if you're so uncomfortable that you need to constantly soothe yourself, the person across the table reads that as instability, or even worse, that you're hiding something.
So your hands can either be a tool for conviction with these measured open gestures, or they become a release valve for anxiety, which just signals weakness.
That is the perfect way to put it. Every little movement is being factored into this trust equation.
This really changes how you should prepare, doesn't it? It's not just about a series of arguments. It's a continuous dialogue on two channels at the same time.
Right. You have the verbal channel, which is highly prepared, and then you have this raw nonverbal channel that's always running.
And if they don't match up?
If they're misaligned, the nonverbal almost always wins. People will trust the discomfort they see over the facts they hear.
So let's synthesize this. The big takeaway from the sources for you, the learner, is that body language isn't just polish. It's a core negotiation tool. The advice is simple. Master your body language.
Which means your prep has to be dual-layered. You absolutely have to work on your words, get your arguments right. But you also have to work on your posture and your gestures. You can't separate them.
It's the difference between just being prepared and being commanding, really.
And the final, most conclusive statement from the sources just nails it. They say your physical cues, they negotiate for you too.
Yeah.
It just reinforces that your physical stance is the credibility filter. Every argument, every number you present is going to be passed through that filter.
So this deep dive gives us a really powerful shortcut. To project command immediately, the foundation is that confident posture. Tall, grounded, and open. That creates the stability and readiness you need.
And that leads us to the final thought we want to leave you with. If your body language is constantly negotiating for you, what subtle messages of, say, stress or hesitation might you be sending out every day?
Not just in the big meetings.
Not at all. On a video call, talking to a colleague in the hallway. And more importantly, what's the simplest physical adjustment you can make right now to just stand a little taller or to settle your hands and feel more grounded?
A small change that could pay off in every single interaction you have. That's a wrap on this deep dive. We hope you feel ready to master your silent communication.